It's official. Matt Campbell is taking on the head coaching responsibilities at Penn State. And while I'd love to sit here and feel bad about it and look back on the past, we don't have time. Iowa State has already decided they found their guy. Wow.
You are Locked On Cyclones, your daily podcast on the Iowa State Cyclones, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cyclones, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm your host, Nick Marovets. Thank you for making this your first watch or listen of the day. I appreciate it more than you know. Be sure to hit subscribe so we can prove once and for all that it is, in fact, a Cyclone state. Tonight, we're going to be talking more about Matt Campbell, and unfortunately, it will probably be one of the last times we talk about Matt Campbell here on Locked On Cyclones because he has officially taken the job at Penn State as head coach. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like for him, what Matt Campbell has done for Iowa State. We'll look back on that for a little bit, but we're going to have to move on relatively quickly because Iowa State already named their next head coach. I mean, it happened so fast, I barely even had a chance to realize what was going on. Jimmy Rogers is your next head coach at Iowa State University. So we're going to get into kind of what he's done, what he's accomplished, what I think he could do here at Iowa State. First thing I want to do, honestly, is I just want to take a second, because this, like I was thinking about this, there's all these videos resurfacing of when Matt Campbell became head coach. I was 15 or maybe 14 or 15 or 16, somewhere in there. I don't know the exact data went down. I don't have it in front of me. Brain's a little cloudy. That's so long ago. And honestly, I really, truly thought, and this is maybe just me being dumb, that Matt Campbell would stop being a head coach at Iowa State because he retired or was run over by a bus. Like, I did not foresee him taking a job outside of Iowa State. And I think that, the culture he's built at Iowa State, it feels like he's a part of the program. And so losing him hurts. There's a really big piece of me that was pretty devastated all day today, on the 5th. If you're listening to this tomorrow, yesterday, I really thought the way that things were playing out, Matt Campbell was going to stay. I really thought this was going to be another situation where he's considered for one of the top head coaching positions that's available. We go through this every year. This one just got a little bit louder. It's going to end up being okay. That's not the case. Matt Campbell is officially taking the Penn State job. It looks like it's going to be an 8-year deal. I don't have the money right now. It's pending board approval for compensation. But it looks like this is per Matt Fortuna sources. Penn State is committing roughly $30 million in NIL money and $17 million in staff pool to Matt Campbell, assistant coaches, support staff, etc. Look, happy for Matt Campbell. I'm curious, what are you guys feeling right now as far as the Matt Campbell situation? Are you upset? Are you happy? Are you hoping he succeeds at Penn State? Are you hoping they lose every game other than maybe beating Iowa? How are you feeling? Because there's so much going on. It's hard for me to really wrap it all up into one thought. And it's hard for me to root against the guy because of what he did for Iowa State. And I took a look at some of the stats that, Iowa State was prior to Matt Campbell, Iowa State under Matt Campbell. What did it all look like? It's pretty impressive, right? They're pretty night and day. Iowa State, before Matt Campbell, had a win percentage of only 42.9. They had no 10-win seasons. They had 3 bowl game wins. Under Matt Campbell, in just 10 years, Iowa State had 3 bowl game wins. That's the same number. Matt Campbell literally doubled the amount of bowl game wins Iowa State had in 10 years. Ridiculous. They also had a 56.7% win percentage and did achieve that 10-win season. It was 11 wins last year. How could you forget? A couple other stats that I really like bringing up here. Matt Campbell set the school record for conference wins at 8-1 in 2020. He owns 45.2% of Iowa State's all-time wins over ranked opponents. His 49 Big 12 wins are the most by a Cyclone coach versus conference teams. And that's 53.3% of the 93 all-time Big 12 wins for Iowa State. The guy just won like crazy and really reset the standard at Iowa State. Like I just said, that win percentage prior to Matt Campbell wasn't very good, 42.9%. Just not impressive. I think a lot of Iowa State fans were used to where Iowa State was at, kind of a lower tier program. Now with, under Matt Campbell, where he's taking this program now, 8-4 had a lot of people upset. 8-4 had a lot of people feeling like we didn't quite reach the mark this season. If you asked anybody in 2010 if they were okay with an 8-4 season for the Iowa State Cyclones, I think the overwhelming answer would be yes. Okay. And the reason everyone was so upset about it this year is because Iowa State's coming off of a Big 12 championship game appearance, right? They start the season 5-0. If you were to ask anybody, when Iowa State's 5-0, if they were okay with 8-4, they'd probably say, well, no. I mean, we were in the championship game last year. That means that the rest of the way we're going to go 3-4. Like, I think this team's probably better than that. That's why there's this element of like, man, what happened this year? But Iowa State as a program went from here when Matt Campbell took it over to here. He absolutely elevated what the expectations were for Iowa State football. And while I would love to sit here and be upset at Matt Campbell for leaving, because I really thought he never would, and the way he talked about this program, I really seriously thought he was here forever. Like he was going to build something. He was going to have some crazy legacy, which I still think he has an amazing legacy, but it's just not something you really hear about a whole lot in college sports, is how long I was expecting Matt Campbell to stick around for. And I guess that's, for a reason. I'd love to be upset with him. I really would. But you just can't deny what he's done for the program, the heights that he's taken Iowa State to. We'd be in a lot more trouble. Jamie Pollard wants to talk about how much trouble Iowa State's in financially, this, that, and the other. We'd be in a lot more trouble if it weren't for Matt Campbell. The NIL situation, it's not hinging on Matt Campbell having success. That was going to happen regardless. And Matt Campbell coming in and bringing Iowa State the success that it has set Iowa State up in a much different position than they would have been without him. And I think we have to at least acknowledge what he's done for the university. You can be upset, or for the athletic program. You can be upset for sure. Like, I will not hold that against you, but also realize what he's done for Iowa State. It's nothing short of amazing. And I've had some Penn State people ask me, like, are we getting a good guy? You got maybe the guy, the best guy, and we will miss him here at Iowa State. But that being said, like I said at the top of the show, we don't have all day to kind of mourn the loss of Matt Campbell. We have to move on to our new head coach, who Jamie Pollard believes could be the answer, right? We could have the next guy that's going to send Iowa State not only to bowl games and to conference championships, but to national titles. Seems like it's possible. We'll talk about what Jimmy Rogers has done and what I think he could do at Iowa State coming up right here after this. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. With player props updating as guys heat up, you can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Aura Frames. The holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something that you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Because Aura isn't your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before you gift it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles right there. Exactly when they open the gift. It's perfect for anyone who loves photos, grandparents, parents, some newlyweds got a ton of wedding photos they want to look at. It's ideal for those kinds of situations. And one of my favorite features, it comes gift ready. No price tag, no wrapping needed. That's a huge win, in my opinion. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code COLLEGE. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Iowa State has a new head coach. I cannot believe that I am saying that. Here at Locked On Cyclones, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Campbell moved on to Penn State. And Iowa State did not waste any time. We have our new head coach. Jimmy Rogers is going to be the new head coach of Iowa State. I believe next season is when he will take over his duties. It sounds like, from what I'm hearing, it will be Taylor Mauser that coaches the bowl game. That's just as of right now. But Jamie Pollard is extremely excited about this hire, about Jimmy Rogers. I've got a few quotes here that I'd love to share with you. Jimmy Rogers is a rising star in college athletics who has very strong ties to the Midwest, both as a player and as a coach. He has been on my short list ever since the first time I met him. He immediately impressed me with his interest in Iowa State University and told me during our first visit several years ago that he wanted to be the next head coach at ISU. Talk about calling your shot. My goodness, especially with Matt Campbell at the helm. I assumed he would have been waiting 80 years. I genuinely think that, and I still do. I'm in shock, all right? Another quote here from Pollard on Jamie Rogers. Since our initial meeting, I have stayed in close contact with him and have been very impressed with his work ethic and understanding of what it takes to be successful at Iowa State. He is a proven winner who has demonstrated throughout his career that he will fit our culture. The culture thing is one of the biggest deals for me. I'm very interested where the culture of Iowa State goes from here because it's been so defined for so long, right? That's like looking at an orange and all of a sudden it's yellow and you're like, isn't that a lemon? And then someone goes, no, that's an orange. Like, what? No, it's yellow. It's not an orange. Somebody tells you, no, that's definitely an orange. That's exactly how I feel about Iowa State right now. What do you mean that culture? That's Iowa State culture? Yeah, what do you mean? This is Iowa State culture now. Remember, there's a change. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. I'm very curious what Jimmy Rogers is going to bring as far as the culture department goes, but we know what he's bringing as far as past successes. At South Dakota State, the guy just balled out, right? As in 2023, South Dakota State went 15-0, won a national championship, and in 2024 won a conference title. Last season, his first year at Washington State as a head coach, right? Those 2 years at South Dakota State, he was a head coach. His first year at Washington State brings them to a bowl game. Unbelievable. And I took a look at what Washington State was able to do this season. Very close loss to an Ole Miss team, 24-21. Very close loss to a Virginia team, 22-20. Right? I'm not saying that Wazoo is some just basically an FCS school. I'm not saying that, but these are definitely quality losses, if you want to call them that. I can't believe I just said that. In your first year as a head coach, and you brought them to a bowl game in your first year, right? That right there, I feel like is impressive. And considering everything that, Washington State has been through over the years, with the Pac-12 and everything, I'm impressed by that. And obviously the success at South Dakota State is very impressive as well. Look, this is an opportunity for him to kind of prove what he can do at a Power 4 level. Obviously Washington State would have been that a few years ago, Power 5 level. But now he's really in the thick of it, in the thick of the Big 12. And my guess, my kind of outlook on this, based on the very limited time that I've been looking at this whole thing, this happened so fast. I really thought it was a joke when I first read this report. So this is very raw. But my guess is, Iowa State, we will be at the same spot, I think. Maybe not next season. 1 year is kind of tough. But I think after 2-3 years, he's going to get a chance to build his program. I think we're going to be in a good position. I don't know if we'll be competing for a Big 12 title in 2 seasons, but I don't think we're going to be wiped off the map. I don't think losing Matt Campbell sends us back to the 2-win season days, right? I do trust Jimmy Rogers based on his success at prior stops, and obviously the Washington State stop being against really good competition, still a 6-6 season. I don't think we should go into next year with the expectations we went into this year, but I don't think going into this head coach expecting failure is fair either. I do think that we're looking at a great opportunity for culture to relatively remain the same, if not see some tweaks that could benefit the program. I think we're looking at a head coach who, I know defensively, he's got a couple of 90-plus PFF grade seasons or whatever. That's very exciting. I don't know. That was per PFF is where I saw that, but I'll see how that pans out here. Look, I trust Jimmy Rogers, which is crazy that this has been an hour basically since I found out about this, and I already feel okay about it. I don't know where the player situation is going to be. That's my main concern right now. I did see Quentin Taylor Jr. already jumped into the portal. Be very interesting to see, where Rocco goes, some of those wide receivers, where they go. I can't imagine what the players are going through right now. So I feel for every single one of them. And even those guys, like, this isn't really getting talked about enough, I don't feel like. Just 2 days ago, December 3rd, we were talking about the 26 guys who Matt Campbell brought to Iowa State. How do those guys feel, right? How do those high schoolers feel? And the JUCO signee, like, how do they feel that this guy, is telling them, like, hey, we're gonna build this here, we're gonna do this. I can't wait for you to come out to Iowa State, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden and I'm gonna say it again because I mean it. He's on the East Coast. He's gone. How do you feel about those guys? Those guys are going through it just as much as the guys in the locker room. So it's going to take some time to kind of figure out what exactly is going to happen. And I don't know where the player base will be at. But I do imagine a fair amount of guys will come back. And I think that Jimmy Rogers will bring in his guys. And I believe in the system here. I'm trusting Jamie Pollard right now that this is the right hire. Some of those comments make me feel pretty solid. Like this comment about like wanting to be the next head coach at Iowa State. I don't think you just say that to every AD you meet. Unless you do, and I'm just bad at networking, but that means something, right? That I feel like there's definitely a want to be at Iowa State, and that was something I was scared about when we talked about it literally today. Today's been crazy. I said, I don't want Iowa State. If we can't keep Matt Campbell, who can we keep? I don't want Iowa State to become this stepping stone school, especially with the comments that Jamie Pollard has made. Like, I'm definitely on guard about that. And if Jimmy Rogers is, like, he said this years ago, I want to be the next head coach at Iowa State, I do feel better about that. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that does make me feel like there is going to be something developed under Jimmy Rogers. It's not going to be, because, like, obviously 1 year at Washington State, it's easy to look at that and say, well, he's just in and out. He's using this as a stepping stone to get to where? Well, this might be the end of the stepping stones. This might be the end of the road. This might be the next long-term venture for Jimmy Rogers. It's easy to look at this and say, like, yeah, he could win, 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, look for a Big 12 title and then move on somewhere. But I actually don't know if I don't feel that in my bones like that's the case. And I do generally trust how I feel in my bones in a lot of situations. I was let down by Matt Campbell today, but this feels like something that I can get behind. I don't know if I can get behind an upgrade right now, at least this fresh off the situation, right? Diving into some tape, diving into all of that kind of stuff could help me feel a lot better. But right now, like, I can get behind this. And I'm curious how you feel. Are you excited about Jimmy Rogers? Are you still upset about Matt Campbell? Both are fair. Both are completely fair. And I'm here for every single one of you guys. So let me know in the comments or at Nick_Marv on Twitter. The end of an era, man. Shout out to Matt Campbell and everything he did for Iowa State, but also Jimmy Rogers. We are moving up. We are certainly excited about what Jimmy Rogers is going to do for Iowa State University. That being said, it's going to be it for today. So hit subscribe down below so we can prove once and for all that it is in fact a Cyclone State. Keep updated on all the Jimmy Rogers news, all the players that are, coming in and coming out. It's going to be a crazy offseason for this football program. We haven't even played our bowl game yet. So be sure to hit subscribe down below. It's the best time of year, I suppose. Until next time, Cyclone fans. Sayonara.